The LG G3 OLED TV is ridiculously bright for an OLED TV, but is that enough to overcome its faults? Can those shortcomings stop it from being the best OLED TV on the market? We'll be discussing that and much more within this video, and be sure to stick around to the very end where I'll give you my buying advice depending on your use case. So let's start with what separates the G series from the C series that you might know. The G series is what they call the gallery series. This is going to come with a wall mount. Now this is different from the C series because the C series comes with a stand in the box where the G series does not. If you're somebody who usually puts your TV on a stand, this is the first wrench that could be thrown into your plans. One other benefit is that you actually get a 5-year warranty with the G series as well. The HDMI ports that you have on this TV are 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, so you can enjoy all the 4K 120Hz gaming that you can handle with those 4 ports. The G series also features a heatsink, which helps with the TV's durability and efficiency. Aside from the heatsink, this year we have a big separation in the G series with the MLA technology. MLA stands for micro lens array, and what this does basically is it magnifies not only the brightness capabilities of the TV, but the color performance as well. And the result of these things put together is fantastic picture quality, but more on that later. So new for this year, we have the LG A9 Gen 6 processor, which is going to help the TV push more brightness and color than usual. They also did a big upgrade to the dynamic tone mapping within this TV. So your dynamic HDR tone mapping that you can enable or disable is going to be much better than years before. And it does act differently in different modes, so it's something you're going to want to experiment with when you get the TV. They also made some improvements to WebOS, as well as changes to the menu system. So there's a new quick menu option where you can add different shortcuts. There's also a new feature called the AI Picture Wizard. Now this could help a number of users get to the right picture modes for them and kind of design a picture mode based on your personal preferences. I tried this out and the results actually weren't that bad. I ended up getting a picture that was very bright, clear, and sharp based on what I picked. And it wasn't something that was too overdone like vivid mode, but it was going to give me a better picture quality than I would have gotten out of the box from any other mode that wasn't going to be the dedicated cinema or filmmaker modes. So I would just say give it a shot. Maybe it is something you like and you will actually use. Something that you probably won't like using is going to be the speaker system on this TV. The speakers on this TV just aren't very good. I feel like they're very subpar for the price of the TV, so I would suggest if you do have to use the speakers for this TV, to make sure you change it out of AI sound and go to a different setting because the AI sound just isn't good. So I would suggest getting a soundbar at the very least if you are thinking about buying this TV. Alright, so let's talk about the picture quality. Now again, I'm not somebody who judges accuracy, but the filmmaker mode out of the box definitely feels like it gives me the creator's intent, so I'm happy with that. The other modes deliver some punch that I've never seen from an LG OLED TV. For example, when you are in Cinema Home, you are getting a lot of that creator's intent still, but it is going to give you that extra picture pop. So if you're somebody who really likes the brightest picture possible, Cinema Home is going to be very nice, as the dynamic tone mapping really does push the brightness in that mode. And you also have the expression enhancer as an option this year where you can either select detail or brightness. I thought that the combination of brightness plus Cinema Home ended up beating almost any TV that I put it up against. Even the QN90C at times wouldn't be able to keep up with the LG G3, and to me that was absolutely crazy. I've never seen an LG OLED TV punch with a Samsung LCD before. Surprising to say the least. We'll talk about how it compared to the other TVs a little bit later, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Another thing I observed, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to fix this in a firmware update or if they even want to fix this in a firmware update, but the TV does push a little bit of green. I've seen green in some darker areas, I've seen green in some lighter areas. It actually feels like there's a green tint to the image at times, and this is something that your eyes will get used to, and maybe you won't even notice it, but I did notice it because I had it up against 4 different TVs. So the green push stuck out to me more, but it might not stick out to you as much. This is something that I have seen in the past on LG OLED TVs, And then I don't think it's going to bother anybody, but I definitely need to call it out. Now let's move on to gaming, and this is perhaps one of the biggest challenges of reviewing this TV because the game mode is very incomplete. And I say that because you're not getting the same picture quality as you are outside of game mode. The TV definitely makes some big sacrifices to the visual impact, especially with the brighter colors when it comes to the game mode. And this can be seen by just toggling in and out of game mode, as you can see here. I'm showing you a couple of non-gaming examples so you can see what it's actually doing with the picture quality. And you can see that the difference in colors and the brightness, it's just a big difference, and it's not something that I'm personally okay with sticking with game mode. Now there are workarounds, but these workarounds do come at a cost. And you have to have a console that has ALLM support, otherwise you can't activate it. If your console does support ALLM, all you have to do is select the mode that you want to use, then you go to the options menu, select Game Optimizer, and then turn on ALLM. From there you'll get a low latency experience, but it's not as low latency as you would expect from regular game mode. You're definitely going to get more input lag in a different mode with ALLM than you will with the Game Optimizer game mode. So if you're a competitive gamer, maybe ALLM isn't going to be the solution for you, and you'll just have to sacrifice some picture quality to get the best input lag. But it is something that has to be noted because it is a big factor when talking about this TV. If you have ALLM engaged and you're okay with the input lag, then you're getting a ridiculously good picture quality. Like I've mentioned before, all the other picture modes are fantastic, but it also has to be noted if your console doesn't support ALLM, you're kind of out of luck. That's just something I wanted to throw out there, and I'll do a full gaming review in the future, but that is the big sacrifice with game mode. Now let's talk about sports. For sports, this thing is a beast. The brightness that you can pump out of this TV is crazy for an OLED TV. You're definitely going to be getting the brightest OLED TV that LG has produced. I had a great experience watching my Denver Nuggets play in the NBA playoffs, and I watched it through YouTube TV. And I gotta say, the overall streaming experience was really good as well. So I think those of you that are streaming sports are really going to love this TV. And the fact that YouTube TV ran really good on this TV is really promising for the upcoming NFL Sunday Ticket. So if you're looking for a TV to watch your NFL games on this season, this might be the right TV for you. So how does the TV compare to other TVs on the market? Before we get into my buying advice, I just want to remind you that I do have all the TVs that we're talking about in this video listed in the description below. These are affiliate links, and if you end up buying from these links, it will help out the channel directly. So thank you guys so much for your support. All right, let's get on to the buying advice. When I put it up against the S95C, I was very surprised to see that in a lot of scenes, the G3 actually beat the S95C. Now, it's important to note that the S95C still beat it when it comes to color brightness because QD-OLED as a technology is able to get to a better color brightness than what the LG OLED is capable of. So there's something that you have to remember as well. Though you're not always going to run into content that pushes this level, and when you actually see it on an LG OLED TV, you won't really know what you're missing, so I wouldn't think about it too much. If you're thinking about getting a G3, you should be fine. Overall, the colors are really great on this TV. They just didn't stack up to the S95Cs when it comes to the brightness of colors. But other than that, everything else this TV did surpassed the S95C in a lot of scenes, so that is something worth noting for sure. When you have them in an accurate mode out of the box, like filmmaker mode for example, you are definitely getting a very one-for-one experience. These two TVs were almost the same in a lot of scenes, and you just kind of got to pick the one that you're going to like the most, because both of these TVs do have cons. You have to think, what cons can I live with? And that's probably the TV that you end up going with. I would say if you're somebody who watches a lot of movies, you stream a lot of TV shows on Netflix, if you are in that use case, the G3 is hard to beat. And it is worth noting that it does have Dolby Vision support, so if you're a fan of Dolby Vision, that is something that you will get with the LG G3, where you wouldn't get that with the S95C. Now, I personally wouldn't put too much stock into the whole Dolby Vision versus no Dolby Vision debate, as you usually get a comparable HDR10 version from the Dolby Vision grade anyway. So while I wouldn't, maybe you factor that into your decision. Now, when we're talking about gaming as a primary use case, I probably would skip the G3 and go with the S95C instead. Putting it up against the S90C was a similar experience, but not as good as the S95C. But it definitely has to be noted that the S90C is cheaper than the G3, and in comparable modes, it actually stacked up with the G3 quite well. However, when it came to the brighter modes, the S90C wasn't able to match the G3. When talking about the actual game modes, both of those QD-OLED TVs were better than the LG G3. When talking about the LG C3, that is a great TV, but the LG G3 just surpasses it in every single way. There weren't any scenes where the LG C3 would win, and that's not really surprising. There were a few scenes where they would look very similar in a accurate mode like filmmaker mode, but even then when the content pushed the brightness on those accurate modes, you would see a big difference with the LG G3. There was better peak highlights out of the TV, and overall I liked what I saw out of the G3, where at times the C3 definitely felt like it could have more going for it. That said, the C3 is a great TV, but it's clear to me the LG G3 is a big step up. The A95L, which isn't out yet, I'm not sure what the price is going to be on that, but I just wanted to mention it with the other QD-OLEDs because I think it will be a very similar result, with the A95L maybe pushing a little bit more brightness than the S95C and S90C, but that remains to be seen, and I will be reviewing that TV and putting it up against the LG G3 when I get a chance to, once it is released. So if you want to make sure you see that video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be alerted when I do post videos like that. Thank you guys so much for your support. The LG G3 definitely gets my top tier reward. I consider this TV an S tier TV for sure. There is not really a comparable LG OLED TV on the market that comes close to this TV. This is LG's best TV yet, and besides the gaming shortcomings, I like this TV a lot. You're getting a wall mount, which you otherwise might have to buy if you were going to mount your TV, and you're also getting a 5-year warranty, which you otherwise might have to buy if you wanted to get a warranty with your OLED TV, which is usually a good idea to buy a warranty with an OLED. So when you consider all of those things, the LG G3 ends up being a pretty good value. You also have to think about the support for this TV. In the past, LG has pushed out consistent firmware updates that fix the issues, and with LG's firmware updates, they rarely ever mess with picture quality as opposed to some of their competitors, which might actually change the picture quality for your TV that you end up buying. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of when picture quality changes dramatically after I bought the TV. It's not a good experience for anybody, and it's not a good experience for me as a TV reviewer either, because I feel bad because somebody's picture quality changes with a firmware update. I would say if you own an older LG OLED TV and you've been looking for the right upgrade, the G3 just might be that. The LG G3 is the clearest upgrade path that I have seen from an LG OLED yet, and consistently year after year we get a TV in the C series and the G series that's just a little bit better than the year prior, but this year we're getting a huge step up with the LG G3. This is a big jump for LG OLED. So what do you guys think of the LG G3? Is it the TV for you, or are you going to go with a different route? Tell me in the comments below. I love to have a conversation with you guys. Now, if you want to see in-depth comparisons with the LG G3 against other top TVs, make sure you check out the video right here and right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you continue watching with those videos that I just mentioned.